What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast 412, Fight for Purity. A bold way of looking at challenges that young people are facing. We'll talk about the naked truth of life and how to handle the problems you're thinking but not talking about. So strap in, get ready for another great podcast.
Hi, welcome back. Our last episode, we were speaking on siblings and love languages. And we are starting to conclude on our first, I guess, section of this love subject, I guess. I don't know. We're going to start concluding on that. But before we do, we're going to have a fun fact with... Yes.
Fun facts with Ted.
Okay, so welcome to Fun Facts with Ted. Okay. So there was a study conducted by Duke University Medical Center that found women need more sleep than men. Okay. And the research indicated that women experience significantly greater psychological distress, including higher levels of depression, anger, and hostility when they don't get enough sleep compared to men. And this increased risk is also linked to potential health consequences. So consequences like heart disease and type 2 diabetes, actually, when they have inadequate sleep. Okay, so just know we need more sleep.
I need to go to bed right after this.
Yeah. So after this, we're just gonna take a nap.
Yeah. I knew it, right? That's why we sleep more, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's also factors of pregnancy, like hormone changes, during the time of your month. Yeah, it affects your sleep. So, us needing more sleep.
That makes sense, right?
Whether you get it or not, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do need it.
It's so funny because Alex used to always ask me, why do you sleep so much? Well, I'm tired.
Yeah. So my brain, I'm using it a lot more than yours. Okay? Than you're using your brain.
Yeah, so and it did talk about how we multitask more throughout the day, so we do use a higher capacity of our brain than the men do because we're doing so much at once.
Yeah,
so.
You're trying to remember all these things. Yeah. And you do multitask, but I don't think you realize how much you multitask. Because I think when you just the simple task of unloading your kids, you have to think through, okay, what am I going to take down? Am I going to take my kids down? Am I going to take my groceries down? And even keeping an eye on all your kids to make sure that none of them runs away or, goes and does, it's like all that takes.
The stroller's not rolling down the road.
Yeah.
There's a video I saw of this mom, and she's holding her kid, but she's pushing the stroller.
Yeah.
And then she looks at the stroller, and her baby's not in there, so she's freaking out, and she's running everywhere. And the husband's sitting down, and she's telling him, "Where's the baby at? Where is the baby?" And she's holding the baby in her hand the whole time, and he's looking at her what is wrong?
It's in your arms.
So I get that.
That's so funny. But yeah, it just seems like no big deal. But yet when you're doing it, man, it can stress you out. When you have all these kids like just battling for your attention, or they want something, or that one's crying and that one's hungry and that one's whatever pooped his diaper, and there's so many things going on at once that you gotta and then keep your sanity at the same time, by yourself without another adult. So yeah, I understand all that. So thank God I'm past most of that now. But so the way we want to kind of conclude our hopefully we get to finish. Hopefully we'll see how it goes. So see how much good feedback I get.
Part one.
Yeah. Part one, part two. But we wanted to kind of tie all the pieces. So we're talking about Storge love, and if you don't remember, going back to the beginning of Storge love, it's pretty much the first love that you experience as a person. So it starts with your parents. So we talked about a father's love, talked about a mother's love, and then we talked about siblings and how that, and then we kind of wanted to finish it off by just wrapping it up, how it all fits together. And so some of the stuff that you're going to hear, we probably already talked about a little bit, here and there, little pieces. But I wanted to make a few, just, I guess, a review of some of the stuff we talked about. So one of the things that we talked about with siblings was that it helps you learn your and other people's boundaries, emotionally and physically,
Socially.
and helps you understand others' flaws, strengths, assets, It helps you to with your interpersonal skills, learn thinking and interpersonal skills. Um, so there's a lot of like just teaching and learning when you're in your family. Like just it's such a big thing that you don't think too much about it, like because we do it like every day, and you still think about how much it impacts like your relationships with other people, like even in the future, even now, in your workplace or with your family or with in-laws or with your neighbors. So there's a lot in there. So I looked up, and there's a lot of stuff that, like I said, will be repeated. I think I'm gonna share this a little bit first. It kind of repeats what we kind of already know, but it talked about like the family provides emotional support. Basically, emotional support is unconditional love. So Storge love. So that's basically what that involves. Is when we talk about emotional support, we're talking about unconditional love. It nurtures feelings of belonging, which basically means like your identity. So you find identity, you know, like because that's such a big thing today, is your identity. Like who am I? Where
I think just in general as a teenager,
Yeah.
even without like
Yeah.
society, just in general.
Yeah.
You don't realize that's what
What you're
you're
still
looking for.
Yeah.
Because when you're a teenager, I never thought like,
Who am
who am I? What's my identity?
Yeah.
But I now looking back, I realize that is what you're looking for. That's why you do stupid stuff usually,
Yeah.
because you're trying to figure out, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be. This
Yeah.
is what
Or this is where I belong.
this is what's expected of me.
Yeah. Or this is where I fit in. Or
So this is
yeah.
therefore this is who I will be or who I am.
Yeah, or even to find like acceptance, you know,
Mhm.
because if you go against what they're doing, then well, they might not accept me if I don't do this or if I don't do that. If I'm not dumb like they are, then so.
Yeah, I never understood that. Like kids failing classes because
They didn't want to be smart.
or like because other like the kids that couldn't pass the classes would make fun of them. But it's like I just never understood that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I think it's that whole
Yeah.
because then you fit in or you belong with that group, so you have to be like that.
You can't be
group.
smarter than them or they won't accept you.
Yeah,
Because you make them feel dumb.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you have to be dumb with them.
yeah. Even though you're smart.
Even though you're smart.
Yeah. So that's one thing that that family brings. Also encourages educational growth. So you do better in school when you're part of a healthy family. And then we talked about this. It fosters cognitive development. So what did you say again? What was it? You? What was?
We went over that, but I don't remember
Cognitive.
anymore.
What is
What?
cognitive?
Remember?
Like
Oh, like what it means?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you're learning your critical thinking skills. I think it's like memory, like how do you how you remember and all that.
Yes.
I think it's just how your brain works,
Okay.
pretty much.
So yeah, so it helps that. Let me see what else. Oh, and it pretty much helps you like through every phase of your life, like through all the different phases of your life. That's what a family provides for you. Socialization, your values are transmitted in the family or within the family. Like that's where you get your values from, is within your
Or
family.
lack of.
Yeah, lack of, or even bad values,
Mhm.
even bad stuff like that. You probably shouldn't be valuing, but yeah. A social stability. It also influences your brain development. Also, it provides prospects for success in life. Also, the formation of future relationships, and it's good for your health and overall life satisfaction. Let me see what else. Oh, emotional. I think this is important because we talk about this a lot. Emotional regulation. So, basically,
Self-control.
yeah, over emotions. Because yeah, you look at teenagers.
Adults.
Yeah.
It's not even just
Well,
teenagers, dude.
well, I guess teenagers that don't know how to regulate their emotions, because usually when you're a teenager, your emotions tell you what to do. So to be depressed, okay, I'm gonna be depressed because my emotions tell me I need to be
How I
sad.
feel.
Yeah, or my emotions tell me that I need to be angry
And stay angry.
and stay angry, or my emotions, whatever your emotions, that's how like. So, but being in a good family, it actually helps you to have that control.
Yeah. So like when you
Yeah.
are sad, you're like, okay, I'm sad, but I need to get over it. 'Cause
Yeah,
I need to
I
do
need
this,
to-
or I'm
yeah.
upset, but I can't do anything right now.
Yeah,
So-
I can't. Yeah, I can't stay here in this
Yeah.
emotional state that I'm in. You know, so, but who would think that is
Who'd have thunk, huh?
yeah, but being in a healthy family helps you. It teaches you, you know, to just have control.
Well, you
man.
have a support system
Yeah.
to even understand what you're feeling.
Yeah,
You
that
know?
it's okay to be upset. But
Yeah,
that
but
doesn't
you
mean
can't
we start
take it
throwing
out.
things because
Yeah.
we're upset. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, or you're, you can only control yourself.
Yeah.
In that moment, you can't control anybody else
Yeah.
around you. You
Yeah.
know.
And like I said, it teaches you those boundaries with yourself and with other people. Like it just teaches you to like, okay, you know, like even when we're talking about siblings, like you learn, okay, I can't be throwing toys at my sister, or I can't be hitting her, you know, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like but hopefully you learn that your parents don't let you like, you know, throw stuff at you know, because I wouldn't let my kids throw stuff at each other. They might try maybe, but it wasn't you
It
know,
wasn't accepted.
it wasn't accepted behavior. So but yeah, so even with that it helps. Also with your self-confidence, having a family helps you with self-confidence, with your mental health, so you're not prone to be like depressed as much, which is very common right now among young people. You think we live in the most prosperous, you have more things available at your fingertips right now. You have like so much, like especially as Americans. I mean, everything's at your fingertips. You don't have to walk 10 miles to go to school.
Yeah, or to the store.
You know, yeah, you know, you don't have to walk in the snow, or you don't have to walk in whatever, in the rain. You know, just those simple things that everything's like accessible to you. Everything's at your fingertips, you know, but yet we are our generation's probably the most depressed of all. You know, socially, like, and you know, and yet you can be on your phone all live long day and still be depressed, you know. So but yeah, so yeah, so it helps with your mental health. And then it says social, I can't even understand my own resilience. Okay, I don't know what the other word is. I forgot. I can't see what it says. But resilience, you're more resilient when you're in a family, so you can bounce back. Basically, it's easier for you to bounce back and not stay.
I was like, what do you mean?
You know, so you don't stay like in a certain, you know, problem. You can bounce back. You know, things are hard or things are tough. You're able to like, okay,
Push past it.
push past it and just okay.
Still get things done.
Let's keep going. Let's keep. You know, you don't stay where you're at. So
That makes sense because I'm one to I tend to just shut down.
yeah,
It's just out of commission. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. So, but so much that it, like I said, you don't think about it. You know, so that was like probably the more relationship kind of issues, emotional.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like that you deal with more.
So like that, you're saying like Storge love, when you have it,
When you have it,
it helps with all of that.
with all of that, yeah, like with your mental, your emotions, you know, working out conflicts, or even like conflicts within yourself, you know, or when you're having a hard like time in your life, or you're dealing with like difficult things, you're just able to manage those things better when you have a stable family, you know, a mom, a dad, and your siblings. So and then I looked at a thing called Family Studies, and it says, well, I'm just gonna read it real quick. Well, I'm gonna read it and then see what you guys think, or if you guys understand what it's talking about. But it says nations that seek to remain economically and politically vital must reproduce themselves. Children are most likely to thrive socially, emotionally, and economically when they enjoy the shelter and stability of an intact family. Marriage is most beneficial for children when both parents are positively invested in their lives, and families are most likely to flourish when they can build upon strong economic foundations. So you guys get what that means? I know there's a lot of long words. No, just kidding.
There's a lot of $5 words in there.
Yeah. So you guys know what that means? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying that, like, if you, just as a nation, gonna get all wild about it. As a nation, if you
Yeah.
want to stay, like, successful and, like, or productive, I guess? Productive? Productive. There we go. Thank God, could not think of the right word. Productive. There we go. You need strong families in order to stay productive, because strong families produce strong children who produce strong families. It just makes a lovely circle.
yeah.
But strong families are, like you said, they're married and they have their own good economic holds on their life, but you can't have like a strong marriage if you don't have the
Yeah.
Storge love too.
And when you look at it like in a broader sense, he's talking also about like just like our world, our states, our countries. You know, that's what makes a strong economy.
Yeah.
Is families. You know, that's what makes it strong. And if you don't have strong families, then that starts to affect.
Affect the
Yeah.
nation.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have kids that are confident. You don't have kids that know how to, well, all the things that you just talked about.
Yeah.
So then you just have chaos everywhere. You
Yeah.
have kids that, need all this support from everywhere else. They can't function in society the way that they should, and you said that you kind of stay where you're at. Everyone just kind of stays there and,
Accepts
yeah.
their fate, their doom.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'll always be this way,
Yeah.
and you don't.
Yeah.
And that's when you have, I think, people who like struggle to keep a job,
Yeah.
because if they're stuck in that mental state, they're not gonna want to go to work,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or they're not gonna want to finish their schooling if they're going to college, or
Yeah.
like
Or they don't have the support
the support
support
to do all that.
to help them get past whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Or
that's-
their emotional state
Yeah.
could put them in trouble, like
Yeah.
because they have no self-control or the anger, they'll lash out at work and get fired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or there's big depression and anxiety, they can't handle the pressure, or if with the depression they just don't show up for work
Yeah.
because
Well, even like the whole drug thing, like,
Yeah.
they're more likely, if you don't have a strong family, you're more likely to get involved in drugs. And I know, like, at my son's work, that's one of the things that you have to take a drug test. And so some people don't
can't pass it.
Yeah, they won't pass the drug test. I mean, they could if they wanted to, but that would mean that they would have to stop doing drugs.
yeah,
You
which
know?
is sad because
Yeah.
that just shows that you want your addiction more than, like, I guess, success, really, because
Yeah.
that job that he works at, it's a good job.
Yeah.
You can live
Yeah.
well off
Yeah.
of that, especially as a single person.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, then they're turning to it because they can't cope with the things in their life. So then they'd
Yeah.
rather have that than push through, have a good job, and
Yeah.
better their lives.
And it's a job. Like, well, at least that job's like a physical. You need to be physically strong, and you need to be like there. And so, sorry.
I get it.
So then one other thing it talked about was fertility. It said nations depend in part upon fertility rates that do not dip markedly below the replacement fertility rate of about 2.1 children per woman. Okay? And it says to sustain their long-term economic and political welfare. So in order for us to maintain, you got to have
or at least two
At
kids.
least
at least
per family.
2.1 kids. I don't know. So children are part of that's one thing I used to say, especially with people not wanting kids or,
Wanting to postpone.
well, not even just, but getting rid of their kids, with the whole, yeah, that whole thing.
The whole rights.
Yeah. And it's like you don't realize what you're doing in the long term, because you're not, well, I'm going to keep, and it says that's because a prolonged period of low fertility typically drives a population of working age adults down, leaving nations without an adequate supply of workers to sustain high levels of growth and enough taxpayers to support the dependent elderly. Because those people that are getting rid of their kids right now, I mean, one day you're going to be an elderly person and you're going to need somebody. But because you got rid of a whole I mean, you're talking about, I don't know, I forgot.
Generation.
I forgot how many if it's like more than the First World War or something like that. I can't remember. But eventually, you're not gonna have a supply of workers, you know.
To
And-
support tax-wise and
Yep.
yeah.
So yeah, and it says dramatic declines in the working age population can imperil the economic and fiscal health of contemporary nations. It says like in much of East Asia and Europe, for instance, long-term low fertility means the workforce is declining, the ranks of the dependent elderly are rising, and even drastic increases in immigration would not come close to stabilizing the national population. And it says Japan and Germany are both poised to see their working age population fall by 15% between now and 2030, even as their elderly population surges. So,
That's 5
Yeah.
years.
yep,
Cut in half.
yep.
Dang.
So these demographic trends portend ominous change in their economic prospects. Major increases in public debt burden, slower economic growth. This is nations that aim to sustain viable welfare states and robust economic growth must maintain fertility rates high enough to avoid the population declines now facing much of East Asia and Europe. We're gonna be there because of what we're doing as a nation.
That's like wild. Like I always like morally, I always have that standpoint, that you should have a big family and
Yeah.
like, have your kids and all that good stuff. Just morally,
Yeah.
but like it's crazy that just like economically,
Yeah.
money wise,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
as a nation
Yeah.
that makes a difference as well.
Well, now
I
it
would've
makes
thought that's
sense
important.
because they're like, you guys aren't gonna have, like, our generation isn't gonna have Social Security because it's running out apparently.
Yeah.
But now that makes sense
because you're not
because
gonna
the next
have-
generation is being wiped out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cut in half.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Oh my
some of
gosh.
them could still have kids maybe later, maybe not. Depending on how, you know what I mean? So, and then, there's people now even that don't want
Kids at all.
kids at all.
And that it sucks. It's because the reason like most people don't want kids is usually because of their own economic or their own family trauma,
Yeah.
because their family was not healthy, so they're like, I don't know how to create a healthy environment, so I don't want kids.
Yeah, and I don't want to put them through
I
that.
don't want to put them through that. Yeah, but like you don't realize, like the only way you learn how to like create healthy environments is by trying to make a healthy environment. You know what I mean? Like you can't expect it without trying to create it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like like because a lot of people like from people like I've known, like where they're like, I don't want kids because the world's all whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you expect it to get better if you're not bringing goodness into the world?
Yeah, if you're not creating it. Like,
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and that's true. Like the whole values, you're transmitting your values to another life. Hopefully,
My other life is
Is
over
what
there
you're-
crying.
Another life over here crying. So
It's like, hear the sound of my people.
yeah, so I thought that was interesting. I mean, I've known that because what is it? Is it China? The
Yeah.
the rule.
The two, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know there's not enough women. Because they got rid of them. And now now that they want to get married and have a family, now they
There's not
can't.
enough people.
Yeah, there's not enough women, so they have to come. Well, I don't know what they're gonna do, but and I'm sure that's affecting them. Economically, I'm sure that's affecting them. In so many ways. So, but we don't think about that. So.
Like, that's so weird that something as simple as like a family, as simple as that Storge love, that family love, can have such a big impact on so many people. Yeah, in the world, not just you personally. Not just you. Like it's not. I think it's like the biggest thing to take away is that like family love isn't just for you.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Yeah, it's for your whole community. It's
Yeah.
for your neighborhood. It's for your your businesses. It's like it impacts like everything.
Yeah, because like when you think about it, like even when you're choosing like a place to live,
Yeah.
if you see a neighborhood filled with kids and families, you're like, I'll feel safe there.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you go to like the other neighborhood, it just got older people or like mixed or blended families or like not even just blended. Like if there's no kids there, you're like it's real quiet.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. So
like
there's
know.
so much. So we're probably gonna have to do part 2.
Yeah, because we didn't get very far.
Because we didn't get very far. But just
stresses the importance
yeah,
of it.
Yeah.
Just know family is important.
Yeah. Food for thought, though, you know, because you don't think about it like that. You don't think about
No.
how much.
It
It
impacts
impacts.
more than just
Yeah.
your little circle.
Your little circle of just
Your
you
little
guys,
bubble.
but it impacts like out. It goes outward. So yeah. So we're gonna come back, you guys, and just something for you guys to think about. So if you're raising a family, kudos to you. Yeah, because you are having an impact. You know, in the economy, in
The world.
politically.
Get all
and
epic about it.
That I mean, that's what makes, like I said, a good economy. That's what sustains a city, a country. You know,
People.
and so you get rid of that, then there it goes. So yeah.
Don't just go out having families with just anybody.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Good families, strong
good
families,
good
healthy,
values.
Storge love. Okay, that doesn't just come out of nowhere from anybody.
Yeah. So
We'll get into that too.
now that's we're going to talk about that one later. It's a different kind of love. But yeah. So it does make sense because it makes you healthier.
Yeah.
Makes you more mentally able to cope with things and figure things out.
Yeah.
It makes your relationships. I mean, it does so many things, and we're going to talk about, there's a few other things here to talk about when you don't have that. And we all probably know what happens when you don't have that. So, because some of us were lacking
in Storge
those.
love.
Yeah, so. All right, so we're going to have to close it down, and then we'll see you guys next week. So join us next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Join us for our next podcast. You can contact us through Instagram at podcast412 or email us at 412fight@gmail.com. See you next time.